My red carpet experience was little funny because we got on the red carpet and we didn't know what to do. Right? Actors, we think, how many lines we've got, how many pages our character is about, but it's about listening. And
can lie from up above here, but our bodies, they're not built for lying.
a lot of times me, my other actors who I work with, who have done theatre for such a long time, who have worked on their craft for such a long time, they audition for certain projects, and then ultimately when the project releases, we see that lead role is gone to someone known.
Everyone is either living a story or telling a story.
The center of attention is the story, the character, not you.
Welcome to another episode of Baatein Banate. Today we have with us Manjiri Pupala, an actress who's been making waves with the work in shows like Baatein and Dhadak, and more recently in films like Superboys of Maligaon and Dhadak 2. I've had the chance to train with her, and I say this genuinely. It's been a delight to watch her glow and grow, both as an artist and a person. Just for your information, this episode was recorded last year, so let's get started. Hi Manjiri.
Hello.
How are you feeling?
Good.
How about this? मैं ना पंजाबी हूँ.
Okay.
And Punjabis are known for a couple of things.
Okay.
One is alcohol.
Of course.
The food they eat, the lifestyle they live. One very interesting thing about Punjabis is their desire to go to Canada.
Oh,
Now you know what I'm
yes.
doing with this. Let's talk about this. You've recently been to Canada, Toronto,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
TIFF Toronto International Film Festival. वहाँ से शुरू करते हैं.
ठीक है.
Why were you there to begin with?
So, actually TIFF was my first international festival ever. I have been working as an actor for quite a bit now. और एक एक्टर का ऐसा एक सपना भी होता है कि आपका जो काम है वो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों तक पहुंचाया जा सके. But more than that, it's like more varied kind of people. Like India has a lot of population, right? One of the बहुत लोग हैं हमारे यहाँ पे.
Suffice all of us.
Yeah, right. But when you see that your content is being consumed by different nationalities, उसका perspective ही अलग होता है, उसका एक experience अलग होता है. So obviously TIFF was special because my film Superboys of Maligaon was selected as one of, it was a world premiere for God's sake. I mean, nothing could have been better than this. So I was really, first of all, it was unbelievable.
Is that, I'm sorry I'm butting in, is that the first time you also got to watch the entire film in
Yeah, it was the first time I ever watched it. तो जब हमने dub किया था, there were very few scenes that were to be dubbed because it is XL and Tiger Baby,
Right.
they do their job so well.
Right.
So very minute little things to be dubbed, right?
Right.
There was not much of patchwork or any kind of dubbing. तो मैंने बहुत कम चीज़ें देखी, मतलब इतनी कम देखी कि मतलब मैं प्लीड कर रही थी डबिंग में कि प्लीज यार थोड़ा सा दिखा दो because this film is so close to my heart in a way,
Right.
But yeah, and then I got to watch it for the first time with some 3,000 people.
Wow.
In the auditorium, and it was a huge, it was like an opera kind of auditorium. So वहाँ पे बहुत beautiful arrangement tha TIFF mein, and it was a world premiere, so they treated it as that, and the whole red carpet shebang, and the people who come and see you, it is just fascinating to see कि आपको कोई अंदाज़ा नहीं होता. मतलब my red carpet experience was little funny because we got on the red carpet and we didn't know what to do, right? It was my life's first
Your
red
first
carpet.
red carpet. Yeah.
तो हमें नहीं पता था क्या करना है, और मैं गाड़ी में बैठी थी, all those black GMCs will come and pick you up, and the whole fact that मतलब दुनिया के बड़े बड़े stars का जो premiere हुआ है वहाँ पे, be it like
You're right
disclaimer,
there
I'm
amongst
right
everyone.
there, and those same cars were bringing all these crazily famous Hollywood actors and some amazing directors that you really look forward to.
कौन था ऐसा जिसको देख के लगा oh my god, कोई any particular actor you like, oh wow?
यार बहुत सारे एक्टर्स थे. मतलब मैंने एक बहुत अच्छी चीज़ की थी कि आई डिसाइडेड टू नॉट ओनली गो फॉर माई प्रीमियर बट आई अटेंडेड द एंटायर टिफ फेस्टिवल. सो आई वॉज लकी इनफ टू वॉच सम अमेजिंग कॉन्टेंट. मतलब बहुत अच्छी फिल्में थी. देयर वॉज अनदर शो कॉल्ड डिस्क्लेमर. केट ब्लैंचेट वॉज पार्ट ऑफ इट, एंड I'm a big fan of her work, okay? And she came in on stage, and it was the same auditorium where my film was going to be screened, and the premiere was happening. So while looking at someone you look up to, being there on that particular stage having a conversation with everyone else, you start imagining how would it be. And my film was premiering on the 13th of September. The festival started much earlier, so I saw so many of the films there.
So there was a lot of build up, lot of
build up. Like, I remember it was like so dreamy for me. I went like the first thing I did there was I went to the red carpet where we will be walking, and I took like a video of like at 11 o'clock in the night where there was nobody.
So ऐसा थोड़ा rehearsal करा कि
I wanted to. That's why I went there. But
I think it's just an actor thing, right? We want as much.
Yeah, as much rehearsal, as much prepping. It was like a kid in a wonderland, really. And there are like all kind of film buffs coming for the festival, right? So the moment you tell them that your film is going to be there and you're a part of a project which is like this, and they already know about it, and they're well read, they're well researched, they know everything about what all is showing up in the festival and why that particular film is being chosen for the festival. So once you tell them that you're there, they just treat you like you are, मतलब आप कौन हो या आप खुद को पूछने लगते हो. It is unbelievable how much they respect art and how much they really savor the fact that someone has come all the way from India and made it here. They value it. So I think that's quite amazing as an experience. Like, दुनिया खुल गई ऐसे. So yeah.
So are we saying we're going to see Manjiri in Hollywood probably soon?
Yeah. I don't know about that, but
would you want to though?
I would love to.
I mean, that's a discussion we had before you left also, right?
Yeah.
You'd want to connect with people there and probably get, audition opportunities internationally.
Yeah. And there were so many people that I met in the festival. I made a trip to the US for over a month and a half. That made me understand how the industry works and how amazing people are. मतलब मैं बता ही नहीं सकती कि किस तरह से कहाँ से रास्ते खुल गए ना. मतलब it is just beautiful. So when it comes to, again coming back to the question, what is the difference between our industry and their industry? Of course, they are also going for known faces. They are also going for so many different business decisions, for that matter. Their platforms are also running as a business, which is to be done because that's the only way we survive, right? But at the same time, in our industry, over few years now, I've seen a lot of times my other actors who I work with, who have done theatre for such a long time, who have worked on their craft for such a long time, they audition for certain projects, and then ultimately when the project releases, we see that lead role is gone to someone known, someone who's like son or the daughter of like a known family. In that context of it, I understand it's business and they need people whose faces are more interesting, sellable and interesting. But also I feel our industry needs to look at and give enough respect to writing, enough respect to people who are creating. तो ये जो glamour imbalance है ना, उस imbalance का मुझे लगता है.
Are you saying that's the difference between probably the two industries?
Yeah, मतलब Aaron Sorkin's जितना मतलब भगवान माना जाता है वहाँ पे, और उसको जितना रिस्पेक्ट है, या फिर वो तो नोन है. मतलब कोई भी राइटर हु इज वर्किंग एंड हु इज ऑन बोर्ड देयर इज गिवन द काइंड ऑफ मनी दैट पर्सन इज गिवन, द काइंड ऑफ रेपुटेशन दैट पर्सन इज गिवन इज फार डिफरेंट देन द रेपुटेशन एंड द इम्पोर्टेंस एंड द ग्लैमर आर राइटर्स. पर कोई सोशली भी कोई टीचर है, ये जान के हमारे पेरेंट्स भी बहुत रिस्पेक्टफुल होते थे उस इंसान के बारे में. सोसाइटी वाज रिस्पेक्टफुल, अभी भी होगा, है ही. बट आई एम सेइंग नॉट मेनी पीपल आर बिकमिंग टीचर्स, नॉट मेनी पीपल आर लाइक चूजिंग इट एज द पैशन. Equally in our industry, for example, like Maya Hawke, the daughter of Ethan Hawke, she had to audition for The Little Women. She had to audition for, like, say, Stranger Things. Now, my only aspect is, here, if you're famous, then you are given a script to read. You are offered a script. Then it is upon you to decide whether you're keen to do the project or not. You're not auditioning all the time.
Right.
When I said yes, let me pick this up and I want to do this. One reason was Rema Kagi. I mean, of course, Tiger Baby was a part of it, and I loved their content. But there are very few people like Rema Kagi who understands the balance between the realistic nature of a narrative and then keeping aesthetics of it.
Yeah.
So
no, that's something that I completely agree with. I think there are very few people in production houses and companies in this industry which are willing to strike a balance between art and commerce, is how I'd like to put it. Like for that matter, I mean, which is why I love Tiger Baby, I love Excel, I love and the things you hear about them as actors as well, the working experience with them.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to shoot something with Excel, and the treatment, we didn't end up shoot. I was supposed to do something for Made in Heaven, but wo Ram Rahim wale wo ho gaye the dange. But they booked good premium economy tickets for me. It's as simple as that, from Bombay to Delhi, right?
Yeah.
They made sure they included meals in the flight, right? They were so professional and they were so nice. Although we didn't end up working together, Zoya was going to direct that, but I mean, it's just the approach of how you treat people and the kind of emphasis you lay on the content along with the commerce. I mean, commerce is
a part of it.
Which is why I also kind of like Vidhu Chopra's work. I love Rajkumar Rani's space. I feel like it's a good, it's great entertainment.
Yeah.
With and the commerce kind of work. Sometimes it may not work, but more often.
But it's a very thin line, and I feel it's a very, very tough balance to make that call. And then there are very few filmmakers, very few production houses who are sticking to that grace, I feel. And then, I mean, the moment I got to know about Dahad and Rema is directing it, and I was like, oh my god, but I have to do like an intimate scene. Do I want to? Like, it's like, matlab, ye to chahiye hi chahiye. I want that experience of working with Rema, and of course, Ruchika Oberoi was also the director of it, and Ruchika's film I had watched, and I really liked her work, and then I was like, yeah, such amazing. And there's something about female directors, and I felt so safe in that whole idea of exploring. I was fortunate, because first ones are always special, people say, but first ones are also important to define something for you. So for me, that whole narrow-minded space that I had about my body and my comfort, and I'm a very, very private person. I mean, I don't remember holding anybody's hand in public. Like, it's a very private thing for me,
Right.
So then to do like an intimate scene on screen with like 200 people watching it in terms of the crew of it, it was very overwhelming. I remember not sleeping for a night after saying yes. And before saying yes to the project, I remember meeting Rema and Ruchika and asking them certain questions about, how much skin will be shown, how are you planning to shoot? And that role was like really, really small.
Can we, I'm so sorry, I'm butting in. Can you take me through the process when intimate scenes are to be shot, right? And you've had experience. I mean, I have also had experience, but our experiences may differ. I've worked with a couple of shows on Balaji where I had intimate scenes, but that experience was completely different. Also, because I'm a guy, right? So it might be, it's not as easy for guys as people usually think. I feel like it's tougher for guys. Is what I personally feel. But take me through your experience and take me, how do they usually deal with intimate scenes? What was the process like?
Okay, so as a personal experience, I would go, because Dahad was my first one. So when I auditioned with Nandini and Karan, I got the part, and they told me that they're keen, and then but there's an intimate scene, we would like to know your comfort. And I said that yeah, sure, because as an actor I made that choice that my body is my instrument, right? And that's all we have as actors, and then we put in so many of our skill sets and talents and the work that we do as actors and the imagination, and then we put things ahead. But when it comes to the body, suddenly I experienced something which I didn't even know exists in my system, which was a lot of perspectives that we hear, and especially as a woman, there are so many stickers that are stuck on your body as you grow up, and you don't even realize. You start wearing it like a skin.
You start believing in that.
You don't even know they exist, and only when something like this came in my life, I realized that I believed in them. and they existed on my skin for like, I don't know, more than a decade. And what happened was the heart was shot in 2 schedules because lockdown came in between, right? So I had a period of full 1 year to process it. So I utilized it. And how I utilized it was like, I knew what all was to be shot. So then I took it as a project of understanding my own body and what kind of shame do I feel, what was my limitation around it. And then I started working out in like the as minimum clothes as I can and just reducing and understanding what part of my body is making me feel ashamed. And I was doing that in the gym, I was doing that in public places. And then for me, it was like a very overwhelming space, but I wanted to just free myself of my own limitations and understand. Okay, बहुत technically, कि मतलब अच्छा lower body पे शर्म आ रही है, अच्छा no, it's about my cleavage, no, it's about my back. What is it about? I just needed to understand. So I took that 1 year when I realized कि 1 महीना मैं सो ही नहीं पाई ये सोच के कि नहीं अभी 1 महीने बाद अभी शूट करना है. And then that shoot got cancelled because of lockdown. And then after a year we shot. So मुझे पता था because it's XL, I mean it's Tiger Baby. I knew for sure that they will be shooting it. It won't get like,
right.
It won't be
ऐसा
stopped
scene नहीं
in
चलेगा.
between. नहीं मतलब it won't be stopped in between. This project is coming across. मुझे पता था. So I took it as a project to understand my own body and the kind of ideas I have been carrying. So even before saying yes, when I went to Rema and Ruchika and asked these questions, they were so, nobody told me कि अरे यार मतलब ये क्या है इतने से रोल के लिए इतने questions क्यों पूछ रही है. Nobody said that. In the meeting, however, the kind of questions that I asked, they were extremely respectful towards it. I called up my casting director friends or, the people who have like given me work before. For that matter, Parag Mehta, I spoke to a couple of other friends of mine and asked them that what are the questions that I'm supposed to ask here, because that was the first time and they actually gave me, I remember making a list of questions to be asked to Rema and Ruchika.
No, that's very interesting because हमारी इंडस्ट्री में
बात ही नहीं करता कोई इसके बारे में.
इंडस्ट्री में क्या हमारे देश में ही कोई बात नहीं करता इसके बारे में. And of course it's a taboo, right? And then you grow up with so many of these, things that you not even, I mean you got aware of them once you were put in that situation. हमारे देश में कितनी लड़कियां daily they deal with this and they live with it and they don't reach a point where they become aware of it, that oh yeah this is a problem और इसको solve करना चाहिए, solve कैसे करना क्या करना. I mean that's a whole different journey. यहाँ तो acting सीखना एक है, फिर उसके ऊपर intimacy दूसरी चीज है. And from what I know, but there is a setup for that, right? There are intimacy workshops that you can do.
So see, now things are changing. Now, I mean, earlier, like even before I was going to shoot in that 1 year, as I was talking, as the shoot was coming, like ahead of me, I started speaking to my friends and I started asking them, even guy friends, even girl friends, and I called them and I said that, listen, you did that scene, please tell me, how is the experience? Is it too traumatic? I'm just, really stressing a lot. Please tell me wow. And so many of them told me, Manjiri, please don't take me otherwise, but it's liberating. And they told me how they were feeling such cold feet. Guys have told me, as you were saying, such cold feet, कि मतलब समझ में ही नहीं आ रहा करना क्या है. It is so awkward.
I was shit scared. I was shitting my pants.
How was your experience? Please tell me.
I don't think I'd want to do it again, honestly. I mean, not because I'm not confident और मेरे साथ बड़ा interesting हुआ था. हमने we shot an entire intimate sequence. This is for Ragini MMS Return Season 2. It was a web show we did for Balaji. So अच्छा उसमें treatment बहुत अलग है. It's not as aesthetic like
I know what you're saying.
do at a Tiger Baby or an Excel or some other, Because the film, the entire show is it's a sex horror.
That.
Yeah, it is about that. So for me, I was very very scared, honestly. But we did it. I mean, we did whatever. अच्छा उस show के लिए हमने body बनाई अच्छा सब. We look great shape, all of that. Cut to वो project चला 1 साल. उसमें थे 7 से 8 directors कम से कम. Because it was a show and it just kept going on and on. अब जब हमने पहला वो intimate scene shoot करा था, तो लेट्स से वो जैन में शूट हुआ था. अब कट टू जब उसका एडिट टेबल पे गया, सब गया, उसका पैचवर्क आया कब? दिसंबर में. एंड फ्रॉम जैन टू दिसंबर आई हैव पुट ऑन एटलीस्ट 7 to 8 kilos. And I have this sponge. And I remember मुझे याद है, so Ken sir was directing, Ken Ghosh was directing that sequence, and they said कि यार आपका side shot लेना जिसमें you're topless and you know whatever is happening. I was like, bro, I can't. The AD came to me, I was like, I can't because I have a fucking belly right now. So he's like, कैसे करेंगे? Then AD went to Ken sir और Ken sir फिर मेरे पास है कि गौरव क्या problem है? Why are you saying no for it? I was like, sir, आप मेरे को फ्रंट एंगल पे दिखा रहे हो तो फ्रंट से मेरा ये है, you know, I'm like kind of almost ripped out there, and then you show me from the side I have a belly and I'm going to look funny. It doesn't make sense. So anyway, we kind of worked around it. We did what we had to. मना कर नहीं सकते थे. But great learning experience. But I wouldn't do something as explicit as that. Unless you know it's something like you know the script demands it and you know it's going to be shot aesthetically, then I don't mind it. Even maybe not even if it's something more explicit, but if it's really a demand of the story, then maybe I would.
You know, a lot of times, Gaurav, now that you talk about it, I feel that be it like a demand of the story or not, I think more than what is coming on screen for actors, because also we are very sensitive as human beings, I feel what matters is the process of it.
100%. Which is what I really wanted to understand.
Yeah. So a lot of times now we have been very fortunate that we have intimacy coordinators. That's a new thing in the industry. Astha is running it. I think she's the one who's like having this entire team of women who are extremely well trained. It's a choreography. So it is so meticulously choreographed. Then it is, you know, that whole inhibition and you know the whole idea of improvisation and feeling unsafe is out of the picture.
No, 100%.
And the moment you have somebody as a third person supervising it, like step to step, there's such safety in that space. It suddenly becomes an action sequence. So that really helps. In terms of Dhad, what also helped me was because Rema and Ruchika were like female directors.
Yeah, no, 100%.
It really helped me because I remember there was one point of time, and you know, you must have seen Dhad. I had a scene with Vijay Varma, and he's such a fabulous co-actor. I mean, I cannot thank him enough. I remember Ruchika shot my scene, the intimate scene out of Dhad, and I kind of guessed that probably Ruchika and Vijay had a conversation before I even walked in on the set. And a day before the shoot was going to be done, I was called on the set. We rehearsed the whole thing with Ruchika, and everything was so respectful and so calm. There was no chaos. We were figuring we'll walk from the door, then we'll hug, and then we'll come on the bed, and on the bed this will be the position, and everything was so beautifully designed and so nicely crafted.
And I feel like you need that space, especially when you're doing intimate scenes, because this is something that I've very recently learned. You know, I just did this acting workshop with Manu, and very interestingly, I mean, he had a very, very factual take about, you know, so we as actors, I mean, we as actors, forget actors, we as human beings, we can lie from up above here, right?
Yeah.
From neck up, we can lie, right? This is an instrument of lying. But our bodies, they're not built for lying. Our bodies speak the truth.
Yeah.
So if we don't have that space of calm and composure when we're especially doing intimate scenes,
you can't translate it here.
You can't translate it here, right? So moment this much of lie in that is not visible on screen, right? Especially when you're using your bodies to, you know,
emote.
Do what you're doing. Emote, 100%. So that's that. But I really liked how you articulated, you know, कि it's a choreography. Improvisation का scope नहीं है, which अभी मैं थोड़ा सा digress कर रहा हूँ, but I really want to, completely can choose not to answer this.
Okay.
We were having a discussion the other day about, you know, actors who tend to also improvise, and these are big, you know, people in the industry who tend to improvise during intimate scenes or using intimacy on set, right? Which essentially then brings us to exploitation or harassment on set of women is prevalent in our industry, right? So I have had, you know, a few friends, a few people who've worked, and I'm talking about the South industry now. I don't want to talk about this industry
names,
like that. Particular names, I mean, that's far-fetched.
Doesn't matter.
But I have had people who've told me that these things are prevalent, and you know, it's a very, very patriarchal setup. Now, this is not about one particular industry, but I feel like it happens in all the industries, but regional presence is much stronger, right? Because the control of the patriarchs there is much stronger like that. So, so what do you think about that? If you don't want to talk about it, completely okay.
No, I mean, it's a good platform to talk about it. I feel I've spoken to like so many female friends of mine who have been actors, and some of them even leading their own industries, and they belong to different industries, and they have told me quite overwhelming experiences. And it used to also happen not too long back, like 10 years ago also people had those experiences. And I've worked with a few actresses who have like, you know, been senior actresses, and they have told me when they were young what they went through. And you know, it becomes like a very बहुत ही vicious cycle वाला नहीं हो जाता कि अगर आप कुछ बोलो इसके against तो you're treated in one way, and अगर आप नहीं बोलो then also you're treated in another way. So then you're like, okay, you're okay with these things.
One thing becomes like a pass, another thing becomes like a blockage.
Yeah, exactly.
For you in the
so
industry.
there was no space for women to even express it and talk about it. And this has happened with people. And I remember having conversation with some like senior actress who was working with me, and very intimate conversation. And she said, I cannot believe this person even tried to do something like that. And that person is not even like a co-actor of her own age, but he had a scene with her.
He's a much older actor.
Yeah, and you know, I feel it's like, you know, as much as keep in touch. And women know.
Oh, I feel exploited.
You know, the kind of intent that you operate from, and the kind of, and I think as women, I don't know, it's our larger understanding of this world and the way we are grown up. We know the intent really well, because it's not
and
about.
I feel it's just not about intent. It's also about which is why I said you articulated it really well. It's a choreography, right? So even in the scene, if I'm supposed to do, you know, this, then there needs to be a discussion about it.
I know the character is doing it, not the actor is doing it.
Yes,
yeah,
100%. And you know, we were just discussing. I was having this discussion the other day. We are supposed to check in with the person every single day.
Yeah.
Right? Today they might be feeling, if let's say a scene is to be shot over 2, 3, 4 days, they might be comfortable on the first day and they might not be comfortable on the second day or third day. And we might need to figure out ways of getting them comfortable, because at the end of the day we are doing our jobs and we have to do
exactly.
Right?
As you're saying, the check-in is important. It is so essential to check in.
These are basic processes of working. I mean,
and when an intimacy coordinator comes in, this professionalism is introduced, which is beautiful.
100%.
I mean, I got really lucky because someone like Vijay Verma was working with me.
Right.
And he's such a considerate oh my God, Gaurav, I cannot tell you how beautifully he handled me in that entire day when we were shooting this. It was so respectful. And we didn't even do a single scene together before that, okay? So for me, it was almost like meeting a strange person and, you know, getting into like an intimate scene. And as a professional actor, I'm supposed to. That's my responsibility, because I said yes and I signed up for this. But along with that, the kind of safety Ruchika and Vijay kind of very unsaid. As small as like, you know, things like, for whatever number of hours I was shooting that intimate scene, I was so awkward about it. I did not walk out of that room where we were shooting it for several hours, because I didn't want to go out to like a crew of 200 people. And even in one of the spot boys, any lightman, if I were to see any kind of a sign where I felt cocooned in anybody's eyes, I would feel like, you know, awkward.
100%.
So I didn't want to walk out at all. Vijay, I don't remember, he left the room too. He was there, even in like cuts, he was there. He was just sitting there in the corner. We were having normal conversation. We were talking to each other. And there were scenes where, you know, he was unzipping me and stuff like that. And I remember the moment they said cut, within fraction of a second, he would zip me back. Yeah. It was so respectful and so safe.
Where is this coming from? Is it education? Is it I'm sure there's a certain amount of upbringing also that comes to play here.
All the time. You can't take that away.
Where is this coming from?
In terms of a male co-actor, you're saying?
Male co-actor or the set or the people you're working with. I'm sure it's a trickle-down effect also. You know, like you said, when you're working with female directors, there's, I would like to believe there's obviously they're more sensitized to this living in a country like
India. Not really. I mean, even male directors are sensitive. But, you know, basic things like, you know, I was going to show my bra. You know, ultimately I was going to get into my bra because he kind of takes off my clothes, right? and then they had to decide the bra because we are doing it. See, I don't know if people know it so well, but every single thing that comes on screen need to be approved by the director.
100%.
And it was my first time, and how the process is done, I don't know if everyone knows about it, but how the whole process goes about is we wear things, then the costume department comes in, clicks our photos, and then those photos are circulated on a WhatsApp group, which has directors, HODs, and then they kind of decide the color of this, whatever color palette of the frame, and everything is approved, right? It's a painting.
Yeah.
Right, so cinematographer, the directors, everybody is on that.
It goes to.
Yeah. So now, when it came to my bra and the lingerie that I'm wearing in that scene, they came to check on it. Like, the costume assistant came in and she wanted to take the photo. I said, wait, I'm not ready to have these photos circulated in a WhatsApp group. Like, I'm not comfortable about this. And she said, okay, no problem. I'll talk to the director. It was treated so normally.
And that's a fair ask.
That's a fair ask, and they took it so normally. And then I had Ruchika walk into my vanity, look at it herself, and she said, okay, I don't think so. This, can you change into this? Then I changed, and then she checked. She said, okay, I think this works. We can fit these things. And the costume head was there, and they decided it, and she left. And I felt, of course, we have male directors who are extremely sensitive about these things, but in my first experience or first time having a female director who could possibly walk into my vanity and I would not feel awkward about it, did help me. It's a matter of fact. And then also, like, I don't know if Tiger Baby realizes it's a conscious choice or not. They are an army of super women, like Wonder Women army.
Making films like Superboy.
Oh yeah.
Superboys of Maligaon, yeah.
But like, the costume head, the assistants, the DAs, everybody is like these strong boss ladies leading the teams, and then they are doing such a fabulous job. And for me in that Dhadak specifically, other than my cinematographer, who was also my cinematographer for Betal, so I had like already like a comfort with him, and Vijay Varma, everybody else was a woman in the room. So for me it became very easy to be in that space. So luckily that was really, really good for me.
Let's talk about Superboys of Maligaon. How did you land the project? What was the process like?
Wow.
And how was it shooting, for the project?
So I had just finished Sheher Lakhot, and I'd gone to Bangalore with my girlfriends, and I was holidaying there. Just one day in it, I get a message from like Nandini and Karan's team, and Nirbhay was the assistant on the project, casting assistant, and he asked me to audition for this. And I said, okay, great, it sounds good. And it came in as like, it's an international project and being shot, and Tiger Baby, XL, Rema Kagi. I said, what is happening? I said, yes, I'm doing it. I cut short my holiday. I came back, and the whole audition process was I had to dance on a particular song, and there was a scene, okay, so to be shot. And then I spoke to Karan and I said that, listen, I would love to shoot it with you. I don't want to send like a self-test. And then I had another friend of mine, Vedika, who taught me the dance because she's like a movement kind of instructor, and she's also a dancer herself. I said, listen, behan, ye to nahi ho payega 2 din mein, please kuch kar de. And that girl had a fever that day, and then still she made it to my house. We rehearsed for like 3-4 hours before I went to Karan's place, and I shot the audition. And then Nandini was also there for my audition, and they kind of directed me through it. And then I danced, and I was so awkward about the dance part of it. I was so awkward about it. I told Karan.
I can totally feel that.
You feel that?
Yeah,
it's not something that comes like,
like I've not grown up dancing, like I love dancing, but apna barati wala dance chalta hai, to
it's a different thing altogether.
It's a very different thing. But if you give me beats, I can only be confident about dancing if you give me beats and I have rehearsed on it enough.
Yeah.
Right? 3-4 hours is less. Yeah. So.
Very less. And the whole thing about it being like an international project, and Rema, and then something coming from Amazon, not like Prime but Amazon, and of course they're together. But when it started, that's how it came to me. And then I was like really overwhelmed, but I'm like, okay, keep that aside. And I remember going to Karan and saying, okay, listen, Karan, we'll do a take, but please promise me that you'll delete it. Because I don't think so it will go well in one take because I'm really awkward and conscious about it. And they say, okay, don't worry. If you feel that this is looking bad, you go back home and you shoot it yourself, Manjiri, at your comfort. Don't worry. I said, okay, great. Thank you so much. He said, but you have to attempt it. Oh, thank God. And then somehow I said, let's do the scenes first and then do this or something like that. I took like full average of it because I didn't know. I was not confident. And then he shot it and he said, this is looking good. I said, no, Karan. We promise that we'll delete it.
But they like
no,
the
it
take.
is looking good. It is really looking good. What's wrong with you? I said, no, let's do another take. I don't know. कुछ हो रहा है पेट में नहीं करते ये. Please, let's do another take. So then I did another take. मैं फिर भी खुश नहीं थी somehow because you know it's not too many times that you see yourself.
It takes a lot for Manjiri to be khush with what she's doing.
Hey, shut
I have known you for a while, but that's true. That's true. I know. I mean, it happened to me as well. Because we are head-centered people, right? We tend to think too much. But yeah, anyway, continue.
So Karan said that, listen, you're thinking too much. You don't have to worry about this one. And this is looking fair enough. Let me just send it. If they say anything, I will, send you the retest. Don't worry about it. And then, okay, fine, I don't know. I remember coming down and telling my manager, nahi, mujhe nahi pata. They took my dancing takes. I know the scene has happened really well, but ye dance wala mujhe nahi pata. I don't know what's going to happen. She said, it's okay, we'll figure it out. Then after like some time, I got a call back and then it was like a reading and I remember that, I had to read with Rema. Karan was with me at Excel office and we both were like, reading it and it was just Rema and the HODs were also introduced that day to me and she did 2 scenes with me. One scene Karan was giving me the cues and I was kind of responding to that scene because I had like a back and forth and there was another scene where most of the times the other person was talking. So we did that whole thing and then Rema said, oh, second one was a trick scene. So I said, oh, after the scene was done. I said, meaning? She said, I was just checking how you are listening.
Yeah.
And that's like masterstroke of a director.
100%.
Yeah, because, as actors, we think it's about, how many lines we've got, how many pages our character is about, but it's about listening and that's the crux of things, I think as actors...
Can you elaborate on this a little? Because a lot of actors are told, you're not listening, you're hearing or you're just in a rush. And I've struggled with this, in the early years of my acting career. What do they really mean by to listen during a scene?
I think that involves the affectability of an actor. How are you affected by what you're listening? Doesn't mean you have to react immediately, but it's about being a sponge and then there's water being sprinkled at you and how are you soaking your being in the information that you're perceiving in that moment.
Or else you're a brick.
Yeah. So it's about that and the beauty of that vulnerability for that matter, which is involved in being affected. या फिर ऐसे होता है ना, very robotic when you're supposed to come on cue. अच्छा तुम्हारा हो गया, अच्छा मैं जब बोल रही हूँ तो तुम भी तो nod कर रहे हो because you are agreeing to something and then if you don't agree you will not nod or you'll do some slight reaction which will be conveyed to me that okay, he is not convinced, right? So all that happens in real life and one of my teachers was my dance teacher again. I used to learn Kathak long back, okay? So she used to tell me that how you perceive life and how you look at the entire world and if you're curious to look at the world and how observant you are, all of this is actually what makes you an artist. So it's not about what kind of person, if you're not a bad person, you're a bad actor. No, it's not that. It's about how curious you are. It's about how observant you are. That will make you whether you're a good artist or not. I mean, she was also talking about a dancer as an artist, of course. But I found that to be true even as an actor.
100%. I think across different art forms, the basics of being a good artist, the basic prerequisites of being a good artist kind of remain the same, right?
Remains the same all the time. And I feel that's quite beautiful in that way, to be curious, and if I'm curious then I'm listening.
Okay.
And it was long back. I used to do Marathi experimental theatre and I was a part of it. It was a 2-actor play and I was doing a very, very bad job. And I was feeling horrible about it. Because it was only 2-actor play, and throughout the play, the text was like, it was an abstract play. So it was repetitive, and I was so conscious about, going back to the scene which has already been done, or skipping 3 pages and not even realizing I have skipped 3 pages because it was repetitive.
Yeah.
So it was very, very stressful for me. And at some point of time, I remember we did many shows of that, and I remember doing one of the shows and it went well, it went smooth. And I was surprised. I said, what happened today? What happened today? And what had happened was something really traumatic had happened in my life in that phase, okay, in that very month. And that trauma consumed me so much, I did not focus on this worry that will I come on the cues? Will I be not skipping any of the stories? And that made me realize that it's not about me at all. It's about me being a vehicle to take the story from point A to point B. तो मैं तो सिर्फ ड्राइवर हूँ ना.
ये अच्छा है. हम ड्राइवर हैं.
मैं ड्राइवर हूँ.
We as actors drivers. That's nice. I like that take. Yeah.
वो गाड़ी मैं थोड़ी ना हूँ. मैं सिर्फ ड्राइवर हूँ. तो ड्राइवर का काम करो ना. गाड़ी का रेपुटेशन लेके क्यों चल रहे हो?
Right.
तो ये जो है ना, oh my God, how will I look if I forget?
Which is interesting. अगर हम गाड़ी चलाते सोचने लग जाएं कि मैं गाड़ी अच्छी चला रहा हूँ, अच्छा अब मुझे फर्स्ट गियर, सेकंड गियर, थर्ड गियर डालना है.
How great am I looking? How the car? नहीं, right?
We just drive.
Yeah. And take the responsibility of being a driver to take the car from one place to the other. The point is the car is going.
Right.
So you're not the center of attention. What you're doing is the center of attention is the story, the character. Not you. So that's what I learned.
Yeah.
So I feel that's very important. And biggest lesson that I learned, one, I need to be curious. I need to be observant of real life. मतलब अभी इतना हो गया है ना, कभी कभी मुझे ऐसा लगता है जब मैं खुद गुस्सा होती हूँ या खुद किसी इमोशन से जा रही हूँ, खुद रो रही हूँ, तो मैं खुद सोचती हूँ कि अच्छा अब देखो मेरी ब्रेथ ऐसे हो रही है. That whole observant, this whole thing is like seeped in my own life. And then when I observe other people, how their breath is going, how their emotions, what is happening, here, how non-verbal communication is happening, and it is conveyed like very beautifully, and you didn't even have to say a word. So this whole idea about how many lines do I have, this whole idea about how big a screen presence I have, it just everything becomes very secondary, and what remains with you is how you are living that character and taking the story on the shoulder of this character from one place to the other. It's a film about how passionate someone can feel about telling stories, and I think we all can relate to that.
100%. I think everyone is either living a story or telling a story, right?
Yeah. Or doing both at the same time.
Which brings me to why acting? Tell me about your journey. कहाँ से शुरू हुआ? मतलब ये acting का कीड़ा, where did it start from?
For me, I think I always wanted to become a pilot. An aeronautical engineer, actually.
Arre baap re.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I was good with studies.
Okay.
I was I was obsessed with physics, maths, and jo bhi, matlab hum bacche jo bhi.
Were you a science student?
Yeah, I was always a science student.
So
Yeah. So वो नहीं होते बच्चे.
तभी
head driven.
Logic कैसे?
ये कैसे? And by 12th, I was prepping for IIT JEE, AI EEs, and I was there. All the coaching started. We used
no acting till then.
No acting at all. And
Right.
I had this whole thing about वो बच्चे नहीं होते जो पढ़ते तो हैं स्कूल की चीज़ें, लेकिन फिर वो उनको अननेसेसरी और एग्जाम्स की भी पढ़ाई करनी होती है, जैसे मैथ्स ओलंपियाड. मैं वो थी, ठीक है, अननेसेसरी कि ये बहुत नहीं है.
मेरी ऐसे बच्चों से नहीं बनती थी. Although I was very good at maths and some of these few subjects, but I was also
the backbencher.
Yeah,
going.
I was never a backbencher, but I used to play for my school and things
Right,
like that.
right.
But I used to also do that. And I remember one teacher tried to like put me in a play when I was a kid and all that. And I had gone to a girls' school. Okay, तो मैं दादाजी बनी थी क्योंकि male characters भी लड़कियां play करती थी.
100%.
And I hated it. I hated that experience. मैंने कहा ये नहीं करना लाइफ में कभी भी मुझे फिर से मत करवाना.
I tell you what, दादाजी बनना is still better than पेड़ बनना. मैं पेड़ बना था.
तो पेड़ थे.
तो ऐसे होता है ना, मतलब ऐसे जब हमारा बचपन में होता था फैंसी ड्रेस, तब मेरी मम्मी हर साल मुझे नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस बनाती है. आई यूज्ड टू गो लाइक तुम मुझे खून दो मैं तुम्हें आज़ादी दूंगा. फिर उसके बाद सीधा कट टू आई वेंट टू बोर्डिंग, और बोर्डिंग में ड्रामा लाइक हाँ हम करते हैं. तो सबसे पहले डोंट प्रमोट यू डे वन राइट. तो सबसे पहले मुझे पहले फर्स्ट ईयर दे मेड मी अ पेड़. भाई आप पेड़ बनोगे. तो उसमें से एक कट आउट होता था, बाकी मैं वो वाला पेड़ था. But yeah, Dadaji, like I said, is still better.
But then, you know, eventually by the time I came to 12th, I was in Ruparel College, which is in Mumbai, like known to be, and I feel it's kind of culture, Maharashtrian culture. Like in my family also, I remember my dad was an art director at Films Division, right? So he had this entire love for theatre. Like so much so that when my dad and my mom got married, he had this one-act play. In Maharashtrian culture, there's this whole thing about one-act plays, which don't get much of a platform otherwise, because always we watch commercial plays which are like, you know, two-act plays, which run for like 2.5 hours or something like that, and there's an interval. On college levels, there are these one-act plays, which are like short films for that matter, right? So my dad used to love these when he was in college, and then he realized there are no platforms for these plays. So when they got married, he had a platform created, like literal platform created on his wedding day.
Wow.
For like a play performance. So a one-act play was a part of his wedding, this whole ceremony.
So
And
it's in the blood for sure.
yeah, it's in the blood for sure. And after that, so many of his friends took that, you know, for their own weddings. And he thought that he
It became
tried
like
what,
a tradition of sorts.
it became like a trend, if not tradition, you know. It was such a cool thing back then to do this. And I was really proud of my dad. I remember as a kid, my dad was actually caught by a policeman once in front of me because he had some 100 tickets on him and he thought my father is selling tickets in black. पर बेचारे उन्होंने 100 लोगों को बुलाया था. 100 people he invited. It was his number of friends.
Wow.
Who he wanted them to watch this particular play because he believed in the ideology of that particular play, a Marathi commercial play. And I remember growing through my childhood like that. Like he used to call like so many. I remember doing my first play and then it was like my producer was exhausted because he's like यार मतलब नाटक के आधे पैसे तुम्हारे पापा से ही आ रहे हैं क्या? क्योंकि हर नाटक में कहीं पे भी प्ले हो मेरे पापा भेज देते थे लोगों को and he used to buy tickets for them. So he was so obsessed with this whole idea of theatre and he loved it for that matter, you know. So I grew up watching some amazing Marathi commercial plays which were extremely modern, advanced and very, very provocative in terms of questioning the social values. So I grew up watching all that. So when I came in like around 12th class and all that, I happened to watch a play in my college as an audience and it blew me away. There was this actress called Veena Zamkar, who's still my friend. She's like an elder sister to me. I take pride in the fact that she's still my friend because, you know, that's people who you start with. And if you still have them, you know, in your journey, it tells you so much about the kind of environment you're building for yourself. And somehow I think Veena was just like the start and a spark of the great experience I have had throughout my journey as an actor with women, like all the boss ladies who have supported my journey. Be it like Veena, who introduced me to this whole thing, to someone like Joy, who I met in LA in like a free shuttle bus, who kind of introduced me to so many people in Hollywood. and I had a few meetings with the managers and the casting directors only because of her.
This is during your.
This is just now,
Yeah.
like, you know, so be it like someone like Veena who I went to, and I remember, like, you know, being like really very shy, and she was in the library. I said, hi, I watched your play, you were amazing, I wanted to know how do you do it. And, you know, and she literally took me under her wings, and she understood what I needed, and she said that, listen, you please give your entrance exams, okay, you don't go away from that. But by that time the bug had bit me. I remember going on stage and I realized, oh my god, this is what I like, this is the kick. Because I believe, like, बहुत ऐसा मतलब imaginary लगेगा, but I do believe in the performance energies, you know. And when I went backstage to meet Veena Zamkar right after the play, I happened to step on the stage because it's right after the performance, and that performance energy just filled my soul. I felt it hit me, and I realized, fuck, this is what I want to do.
So your journey started with stage.
My journey started. After that, I did theatre for about 10 years. I still do it. I still
do it,
perform,
yeah.
And I think nothing can or should take me away from my hunger to be in front of the live audience.
Not the great question, but films or theatre?
I can never choose. Sorry, I can
Pick
never
one. Come
choose.
on.
No.
Okay, give me. If your heart had to pick, what would it be? And if your brain had to pick, what would it be?
It's both. Really. I mean, you know.
I feel like it's a simple one for me. If I had to pick from my heart, I think it'd be theatre.
Okay.
If I had to pick from my head, brain, it'd be.
I'll tell you one thing. Like, you know, I think my heart would also go for film, and my brain would also go for, like, it's both for me. Like, for example, this whole idea of getting the instant gratification, और आप कितने पानी में खड़े हो, ये तमाचा जो होता है ना, वो आपको मिलता है थिएटर से.
वो थिएटर से मिलता है.
ठीक है, and that's also a brain thing as an actor. I feel कि आपको पता होना चाहिए कि आप कहाँ खड़े हो. और मुझे लगता है every now and then you have to go and check your waters. That's the professional thing to be.
Which is why we kind of go back to theatre and performance arts. I think performance arts in general.
So it's not only hard that I have love for theatre.
Like we did clowning.
Exactly.
And I feel like that was वो तमाचा भी था, और there was a lot of discovery during that entire process.
And discomfort. I think that's important.
Comfort the
discomfort.
Discomforted and discomfort the comfortable.
So I feel that is most important. मतलब ना, मैं थिएटर करना कब छोड़ दूंगी पता है गौरव? जिस दिन मैं विंग्स में खड़ी हूँ और मेरे अंदर वो बटरफ्लाइज ना आए और मुझे नर्वसनेस ना हो और मुझे ऐसा लगे कि अरे
I don't think that's going to happen.
No, but if at all, hopefully it doesn't happen. But if at all it ever happens, I will stop doing theatre. Until then, I'm on my journey, and I'd like to be on journey.
I think that's fair. But मेरे को तमाचे से याद आया. कभी तमाचा खाया लाइफ में?
यार मैं बहुत लड़ाकू थी यार बचपन में. मुझे घर पे कभी नहीं पड़ी. मैं बहुत झगड़े करती थी. मैं मतलब, पर मैं मारती थी. मुझे याद नहीं है कि किसी ने मारा होगा. आई रिमेंबर किसी लड़के के साथ झगड़ा हुआ था जिसने मेरा कॉलर पकड़ा था. वो बड़ा बच्चा था, मतलब मैं कुछ 5th क्लास में टिंगी सी और वो 9th में था. वो नहीं टीनेज बच्चे, तो टीनेज नहीं, पर वो उस एज में अचानक से शूट अप नहीं कर जाते. सो ही वॉज इन 9th और समथिंग लाइक दैट. और मैं ऐसी मतलब लड़ाकू कि मैं चढ़ गई, मैं लटक गई उसके जेब से और उसकी जेब फाड़ दी. मैं बहुत ही लड़ाकू बच्ची थी यार.
कोई ऐसा बैड एक्सपीरियंस हुआ है जो आप शेयर करना चाहोगे, which you know people looking at or maybe you know aspiring actors looking at would know, any casting out story for that matter, any those kind of experiences which you would have rather not gone through in this industry?
मतलब मेरे साथ luckily ऐसा नहीं हुआ है क्योंकि you know I have been also very cautious about these people. Like my dad, being however supportive he was of theatre for that matter, he wasn't very happy with the fact that I'm picking it up as a career, especially as an actor, because
why?
He,
if you don't mind me asking.
Of course, he was an art director, right? So he, from the time he was in the industry, he saw the casting couches, he saw actors coming in and asking anybody and everybody if there is work. He saw the dependability of the profession, which I agree with. I mean, I wouldn't say that he was wrong. It's just that वो नहीं होता कि मतलब आपको कोई बोल दे कि तुम नहीं कर सकते तो आपको वही करना होता है. तो मेरा वो था. पापा ने बोला आप नहीं कर सकते, मैंने बोला आप तो वही करना है. तो वो जिद थी तो मैंने ले ली, सच पूछो तो. And of course I had that passion about, I felt that passion about it. But, and he knew it's not my nature it's not in my headspace of whatever that person that he knew I was, which I think I have evolved to be a different person now, but core values तो same ही है. तो इनको पता था कि ये तो एक तो झगड़ा कर लेगी नहीं, इससे नहीं हो पाएगा. इन्होंने बोला तुम्हारे लिए है ही नहीं ये प्रोफेशन. तो मैंने बोला मैं प्रूव कर दूं कि है because I took it upon as like a craft. So fine, but his opinion was something that I wanted to prove wrong. So I was too cautious of not going the wrong way और नॉट बीइंग टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड. तो मुझे याद है, मतलब बहुत शुरुआत में, बहुत पहले हुआ था, अभी तो बिल्कुल ऐसा नहीं होता है, लेकिन बहुत पहले ऐसा हुआ था. somebody had said something like asked for favor in some discreet manner and I kind of guessed it, right? फ़ोन पे चल रहा था, नहीं सामने ही बैठा था वो आदमी, हाँ सामने ही बैठा था वो आदमी, and he was saying something. I said अच्छा मतलब आप क्या कहना चाहते हैं? So he said मतलब आप समझ रहे हैं ना? I said नहीं मतलब तो अरे मतलब देखो ऐसा होता है कि मतलब कोई आपको काम दे रहा है ना, कितना बड़ा चीज़ कर रहा है, तो उसके मतलब एक होता है फेवर टाइप ऐसा, नहीं मतलब क्या होता है and if you're ashamed of uttering those words, how do you expect someone to do that very thing which you can't even speak? So the moment you put your foot down and you really show them the mirror, it becomes very difficult to not be humane about it. And that idea of making that person feel ashamed about the fact that what you cannot even say you're expecting someone to do you feel it's right?
100%.
तो मुझे ना गौरव इतना पता था कि जो भी है मुझे घर आके आईने में देखना है and I want to feel dignity about what I have done today, and that dignity, that one thing kept me intact.
Fair enough. I think it's also how aware you are as a person. Anyway, I'll just jump to last few questions that I have.
Okay.
मेरी हाल फिलहाल में मेरे एक another active friend of mine, उससे बात हो रही थी, एंड बात करते करते वी केम टू अ डिडक्शन कि एक अच्छा सक्सेसफुल एक्टर बनने के लिए इस इंडस्ट्री में आपको 3 चीज़ें, एंड इस मे बी अप्लाइज ग्लोबली एज वेल, यू नीड 3 थिंग्स रियली, राइट? वन इज क्राफ्ट, राइट? देन एट द सेम टाइम along with craft you need great personal branding, right? And along with it you need really good networking, right? To know the right people, be and sit amongst the right people. What's your take on that?
For example, the girl that I met in LA, she met me in a shuttle. She didn't meet me in any networking
so
event.
Interestingly, craft artist तो craft से बनेंगे, personal branding से star बनेंगे, और networking से काम मिलेगा.
तो क्या
all three are solving 3 different purposes. All three are not making you an artist.
तो मुझे अब तक ये नहीं पता गौरव, very honestly I don't know, it's detrimental maybe, but मुझे नहीं पता मुझे स्टार बनना है कि नहीं बनना.
वो सवाल आपको आपके लिए जवाब देना.
तो मुझे आज तक उसका सवाल अभी तक नहीं पता. मुझे इतना पता है मुझे आर्टिस्ट बनना है.
हाँ.
मुझे पता नहीं, मुझे if that was ever my kick.
Yeah.
I did not start theatre. I did not start my journey to become a star in the first place.
Right.
I was just curious to experience how does it feel to play a character differently. तो मुझे नहीं पता कि मतलब if that is my drive, हाँ पर तुम मुझे मतलब दहाड़ का हो या बेताल का हो या कोई भी हो, छोटा से छोटा रोल दे दो, बट क्या मुझे वो करने में मज़ा आ रहा है? आई एम अ बॉर्न एंड ब्रॉट अप इन मुंबई काइंड ऑफ अ गर्ल, राइट? मुझे नहीं पता बेताल के मतलब जो गांव छत्तीसगढ़ में दिखाते हैं, जो गोंदी भाषा बोलते हैं या फिर जो छत्तीसगढ़ी भाषा बोलते हैं, मुझे नहीं पता उसका रेफरेंस क्या है. दैट विल इंट्रीग मी. I don't know how tribals live. I would want to experience that. I want to wear those clothes. I want to study the body language of those people. Right. I want to do that. That gives me a kick. And I also feel that आप अगर अपना काम शिद्दत से करो तो आप मिलोगे उन सही लोगों से जो आपको बाय प्रोडक्ट है वो चीज.
I think all 3 are kind of by products
to each,
and to each other.
Yeah, all 3 are connected.
For me, in my opinion, there's equal amount of respect for all sorts of people, because none of these 3 things are easy, right?
Yeah.
None of them are easy. They take a lot of time. They take a lot of effort.
और मुझे इंसानों के बारे में ये भी लगता है कि जो इंसान आपको आपके जर्नी में जब मिलना है ना, वो वैसे भी मिलना है.
True. I do agree with that. You're a Mumbai girl, right? Tell me your top 5 things that you love about Bombay, and then tell me 3 that you don't like so much.
Okay. Wow.
Just on my fingertips. Quickly tell me.
Okay, great. So, people,
People of Bombay, great.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Food.
Food? No, what are you saying?
Come on! I'm born and brought up in Mumbai.
Fair enough.
You haven't tried the...
This is a taste का problem.
नहीं, problem नहीं है. तुमने मराठी खाना खाया है?
मैंने खाया, no, I
कितना?
agree.
कहाँ पे खाया? तुम्हें, you have to hang with me more,
Okay.
Gaurav.
Okay, no,
The pure
I get it.
Maharashtrian Marathi food joints.
So next time we are meeting, not tomorrow, but
Yeah.
after that, when we meet, you're getting me pure, authentic.
I'm not
Marathi
getting you.
food.
You're coming with me. It's an experience
Okay,
to
I
go
will.
to those
I
places
will.
and have a fucking good vada pav.
Maybe I haven't had great experiences thus far. But anyway, okay, so we have people, we have food,
Yeah, and I feel
not the roads.
Mumbai sunsets.
Oh wow, yeah.
I think they're so dreamy and
I
romantic.
get really great views here from my building.
Yeah. So I think Mumbai sunsets are one of the most romantic things.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it. I'm just comparing. Like, you know,
Don't compare. Just tell me two more things that you love about
Mumbai
Bombay.
theatre scene.
Mumbai theatre scene.
I think
Wonderful.
it's so good. It is so good. I think that is there. And I feel the safety for women,
Yeah.
especially in the night, that Mumbai offers.
I'm from Delhi.
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah. Okay, three things that you don't like about Bombay.
We could do better for roads. Come
Yeah.
on. I mean, it's a financial capital of the country. We have to do better at
Right.
like the roads and the infrastructure, for God's sake.
Right.
Come on. Like मेरी एक फ्रेंड है, हम बात कर रहे थे and उसने कहा यार मेरी तो जवानी निकल गई मेट्रो कंस्ट्रक्शन I think Mumbai as a city can also work in terms of their water management because of the rains.
I think it's all kind of. I think all 3 points are going to come down to the local administration.
Local
here,
administration,
which is
maybe.
BMC.
But what I mean, not only the clogging of the roads. I'm saying the amount of rain that Mumbai,
Yeah.
is graced with.
Graced with,
And
true.
still, by the time we come to summers, there are some certain parts of the city which have water problems, which feels sad because we are graced with good amount of water, not like any other cities across the world for that matter. So I feel that we can do better at, and I think this whole idea of having different lifts for domestic disparity in all these big skyscrapers, that bothers me. That bothers me really a lot.
Would you just tell me in a single line? Do you also think there's disparity in the industry? Have you ever faced?
Of course, there is.
And
There
have you
is.
personally faced?
Yeah, because I was given roles of strong female characters most of the time, but also I was playing some roles which are rural, how they perceived my skin for that matter. I have had directors who would like make jokes out of things like अरे नहीं अभी तुम्हारा सीन है ना हीरो के साथ तो अभी मतलब टाइम लगेगा लाइटिंग के लिए. And I would be like, what? And then they would be like...
That's because of your...
Because of my skin tone. And they were like, it takes time to light your... And then I work with like someone like Vishal Vittal or like such good cinematographers like, Swapnil Sonawane, who make it look like a painting for that matter and not changing a single tone of my skin. So just the kind of perspective that people are operating from. And I was, because of the skin color and how they perceived it, I was given a lot of rural roles. And the moment you play the rural role, they start...
How do you feel about that though? Getting those roles or maybe hearing such things instead?
Honestly speaking, I take pride in doing rural roles because there are very few stories that are told. I mean, at least back few years ago, there were few stories which were centric to that environment.
Right.
Now things are changing, of course, and that was also the reason why I changed myself from like a Marathi regional industry. I started with regional industry, right, and I came to Hindi industry, and now I'm meeting people abroad because I feel, one, I don't want to be settling down to a very comfort zone kind of a space, which I felt I was, and it would have given me the fame that any regional actor would be able to enjoy. But was I looking for that? Not really. Like, I was looking to explore more and be uncomfortable and be in a space where I have more range. So when I came to Hindi, I was given a role of a tribal girl from Bihar, from Chhattisgarh, from somebody from Bengal. So I got to study so many different accents, and nobody gave me a role as an actor. As opposed to someone giving me a role of a maid, of a nurse, where the story is not about the maid and not about the nurse. So you're just standing there as part of like one of the production prop just roaming around because you are dusky and nobody is even looking at your skin tone.
And treating you differently for.
And the funny part is, even if the rural roles are important in the script, because you're playing a rural character, they treat you like that. They treat you like आपको कुछ पता ही नहीं है.
Pathetic,
That's the disparity I feel, and I'm like, hello. What? I'm only playing a person from rural India. It doesn't mean that I don't understand the city life. ये इसका मतलब ये.
मैं सही में पोछा नहीं लगाती है.
और अगर मैं लगाती
है तो भी क्या?
अगर मेरा प्रॉब्लम ये है, अगर मैं पोछा लगा रही हूँ and your film is about that, and even if it's not about that, I should be treated equally because I'm an actor.
100%. लगाती भी हूँ तो भी क्या?
तो भी क्या?
Right.
That I think we need to work at.
Now, just final two things. Just give me a quick plug-in for Dhadak.
Alright, so my film Dhadak 2, it is directed by Shazia Iqbal, and please go and watch it.
Okay, there's any piece of advice that you want to give to all the young female actors or any, aspiring female actors out there, what would it be?
Wow, okay. My advice would be, Gaurav, that do not look at your fellow female actors as your competition. I have met some amazing women who have been such supportive force to my journey, and if you can ever offer your support to other female actors, and why female, like any other artist that you meet, do it at the first go of it. Don't think about what are you going to get out of it. Don't think about if this person is of any value to you. Please do not get in that direction. Just be gracious about it.
Collaboration is the key.
Collaboration is the key. Help is the key. As an artist, to have a community and like a force behind you is the key. And just resonate with what they are going through and just support them. Just support them. Do not think of any kind of advantage or profit out of it. Just support your co-actors and support any random artist that you meet.
Very well said. No, very well said. I completely agree. Once again, thank you so much for doing this and collaborating with me for this podcast. Really appreciate this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.